Hi everybody, thank you for attending Cara Summer Social. I'm so honored to be teaming up with others in our Chicago restaurant community to support tonight's fundraiser. Cara has been transforming lives and communities through the power of employment for nearly 30 years. Now, more than ever, during such an uncertain time, it's so hopeful to see our community showing such support and compassion for such an amazing organization. Enjoy tonight. Thanks, guys. It's time to make one of my all-time favorite dishes, something that's been on the menu at Girl and the Goat since we opened, and definitely one of our top sellers, guest favorites. Who knew vegetables would be one of the favorites at a restaurant called Girl and the Goat? But it is. So it's so simple to make at home. First, we're gonna make the little topping that's gonna go on top. I've got my Kewpie mayo. We put the label on here just to show you that this is our favorite brand of mayo and we use it all the time. We're just gonna go ahead and put that right in our bowl. You can get this done ahead of time. I've already blanched off my green beans. So I trimmed off the edges, put them into a nice big pot of salted water, boiled them for a few minutes, put them into ice water, and I have them drying off and ready to go. And now I'm just making my sauce for the top. So I put the mayonnaise into a little bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and put about 2 teaspoons of This Little Goat went to Southeast Asia. This is from my line of cooking sauces. It's actually the sauce that launched the entire line. So many folks would come into Girl and the Goat and say, hey, how do you make the green beans? How do you make the green beans? So we thought at one point, why don't we just put the sauce into a bottle and then everybody can just make the green beans at home. So now you know the secret. Easy to make at home just by buying the Southeast Asia. It's basically a fish sauce vinaigrette, but it takes fish sauce, which can be a little pungent, a little bit scary, and makes it super delicious. I could drink this out of the bottle, but I also really love fish sauce. It's fish sauce, has a little bit of mustard, has just a little bit of sugar in it. It's great for all sorts of things. So now you have the whole bottle. You can use it for your green beans today, and then you can put it on skirt steak as a marinade, chicken as a marinade, use it in all your stir fries. I put it into fried rice when I make that at home. I put it into tomato sauces just to make them have a little bit more flavor when I buy a quick tomato sauce from the store. I add it to soups. It's gonna be your new go-to add to everything type of seasoning. So a little trick here, since we have this bowl of mayo, you don't have to do this part, but just something, I don't think a lot of folks have squeeze bottles sitting around in their kitchens. I have a couple at home, but just because I took them from the restaurant, but this is where you can get the little drizzle on top of the green beans, just like we do at the restaurant. You can just put this right into a baggie. I just happen to have probably a larger baggie than necessary, but all you need is a little sandwich bag. We're gonna scoop that mayonnaise right in there. Get it all to go down in the corner. And then when we get ready to plate, we're just gonna cut that tip off and we can drizzle it over the top. So let's go saute our green beans. Okay guys, it's time to saute our green beans. So by definition, saute means super high heat with not a lot of oil. So I've got my super hot pan. It's been on high heat for a minute. I just put in maybe about a tablespoon of oil at most, of cooking oil. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my green beans. They've been blanched, they've been chopped. They're sitting on a towel to try to get most of that extra water off so that I don't splatter on my face when I put them in the pan. Something else you wanna do when your beans are still just coming out of the water, give them a taste. These are great, nice and tender, but they do still need a little bit more seasoning. It's really hard to say, hey, do 4 quarts of water and this much salt and get it exact every time. So we always like to taste our green beans before service and taste them before we're cooking them and just check the seasoning, and then we know how much we need to add during cooking. I just tasted those. They definitely need a little bit more salt, but keep in mind that our fish sauce vinaigrette is quite salty, so don't add too much, just a little bit. And then we're just gonna saute our beans. Ooh, I lost one, and that's okay. If you have a really big saute pan so they can lay a little flatter, that's great. I wanted to just use something that was medium sized to show you that you don't need to go super size with your pan. I know in home kitchens you probably don't have like ginormous pans because where are you gonna put them? And what we're going for on all the green beans is, you can see that little bit of brown color. You don't necessarily wanna get sort of black stripes on your beans, but you do want to get a little bit of color so that they look almost, so they look sauteed. I say that to our cooks all the time when we're training on like this simple dish that's been on the menu for almost 10 years. You would think like, how could this go wrong? Why do we have to taste this every day of service? Because the beans aren't always the same, depending upon what farm they came from or what grower they came from. They could be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, and so the cook time might vary. Whoever blanched them in the morning might have put a little bit more salt or a little less salt, so we have to check the seasoning. And who knows, there's so many variables. Everything changes so much in the kitchen. So you just kind of want to taste as you go, know how much salt you need to add. And just try to get that little bit of color to cook them all the way through. So these have been going for about a minute. I'm just kind of feeling them to see. They are getting a little bit hot, but they could just go for another second. All right, so I've got some nice color going on there. I'm gonna go ahead and add in my shallots. We've got these nice and thinly shaved for you so you didn't have to worry about it. I'm just gonna scatter them all around nice and evenly and then keep cooking it a little bit. We just wanna get those to pretty much just lightly wilt. We don't wanna caramelize them necessarily. That would add a little bit too much richness to the dish. We just wanna get them sort of sweated. I'm probably not using that word exactly rightly. We just want to sweat them to just bring out their flavors. They're going to start to bring that onion that we need for the dish to sort of add that other layer of flavor to our beans, make it a little bit richer. Onions just add a little something to dishes. You can see them all over our menus all the time. Some sort of allium or some sort of onion to bring those layers of flavor. All right, my shallots look like they're getting nice and tender. I'm going to go ahead and add in my handy dandy fish sauce vinaigrette. 1, 2, 3. Rather than a certain amount, I'll tell you, it's about 3 squirts around, which I would say was probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons. Ooh, there they go. I can smell the vinaigrette. Of course, if you're not comfortable with sauteing and tossing this in there, don't do it. I lost a couple green beans doing it, which happens all the time. If you look at our green bean station during service, there's probably green beans all over the place. But feel free to just use your tongs. If you have a wok at home, that works really awesome as well. When I cook the green beans at home, I like to do them in my made-in wok, but whatever you have, it works fine. Just make sure it's like at least this size so the green beans have a little room to kind of move around. Just a warning, this is going to make your pan a little bit, it's going to caramelize on your pan, which is a good thing. It means it's also caramelizing on your green beans, but you're going to have to soak it a little bit. All right, then we're going to take our cashew nuts, break them up just a little bit with your hands so they can scatter around a little bit more. Just put them on in there. I put a couple extra in your kit because it's really hard not to snack on a cashew or two while you're cooking. Ooh, there we go. Just a little bit more sauteing just to get the cashews to heat through, and then we're ready to plate. Okay, time to move our green beans to our plate. Got a nice bowl here. I'm gonna scrape them in there. Oh, this smells so good and savory. Yes, my pan is gonna need some cleaning love. Okay, put those all in. And then we've got our handy dandy little baggie that we put our mayonnaise into. If you skip this part, just go ahead and drizzle some of the tasty mayonnaise over the top. We're gonna cut that off. Use this as our little squeeze bottle to get that yummy richness all over the top. So we're adding the flavor of the fish sauce right on the green beans. It's caramelizing right onto them, then adding a little bit more on top with our mayonnaise, adding that extra bit of richness. That's it, it's that simple. Girl and Goat green beans. Oh, it smells so good. Enjoy.